And joining us now for more on this story, live from his New Haven campus, is Jonathan Macey. He's a professor at the Yale University Law School. And Professor, you don't mince words. You say that what's happened so far makes your blood boil. What's the major issue for you in this?
Well, the major issue for me is this dancing around the truth. Right? So you have this really very little question about what really went on. It's like what happens in grammar school play lots all over the country where kids are pushing each other around and they say, is that a promise? And the guy says, or is that a threat? Is that a threat or a promise? The semantics of how one would characterize this December conversation, I think, are completely irrelevant. The bottom line is that the government really wanted B of A to buy Merrill Lynch and was pressuring them to take it off the government's hands, and they succeeded in doing that. And the dust is settled, and no matter what happens in today's testimony, the only realities are, number one, that the government succeeded and the Bank of America shareholders suffered mightily for it. And number two, Hank Paulson's no longer in government. He's got a big book deal, and I think these hearings will help him.
Right, but I guess at the heart of the issue, though, is, again, of course, we can debate semantics, who said what, as you say, but ultimately, did Paulson do the wrong thing? Well,
to me, it comes back to the fact that Hank Paulson was not dealing with some ill-advised, under-compensated neophyte. He's dealing with the person who the board of directors of Bank of America has selected to run that company. And I don't, did he do the wrong thing? The only person who really might have done the wrong thing here is Ken Lewis, who, if he was really threatened with resigning, should have, or being fired, should have gone ahead and lost his job. We live in a country whose financial sector has largely been socialized. We're going to have, for decades to come, these interactions between the people running these quasi-public institutions and government officials. You're going to get this pressure, and people are going to have to stand up to it. I think this is only the first of what probably has already been many, but many to be revealed to the public before these kinds of interactions.
Well, Professor, I want to get your take on the legal side of this, though. I mean, going forward, do the shareholders of Bank of America have any legal rights on this after hearing all of this information to sue Hank Paulson, to sue Ken Lewis, or what?
Well, they don't have any ability to sue. This is the critical question. It's a very good one. Thank you. They don't have any ability to sue Hank Paulson because Hank Paulson was not an employee of the Bank of America. He had no fiduciary obligations to Bank of America. He was basically running what appears to be, in retrospect, one of these clean up the highway programs where, he tries to get, just like you try to get a company to clean up a mile or so of highway and take it off the government's hands. He says, well, we got Merrill Lynch. It's a big mess on the financial highway here. Why don't you, Bank of America, pick it up and clean it up for us? That's not illegal for the Secretary of the Treasury to do. It's that, but where it's going to bankrupt the company or really, really harm shareholders to take on this particular obligation, it's Ken Lewis who sort of stood up because he's the one who is the CEO of the company.
Okay, Professor, we're out of time, but thanks so much for joining us, Professor Jonathan Macey.